Chris, if you
Go
want to
ahead.
call the order, we're
No, go ahead. Would you like to thank Mike Lynch for something?
I'd like to thank Mike Lynch for all of his help this year. Mike Lynch, I don't know where this district is going to be without you. I know they'll bring somebody else in, but it won't be Mike Lynch. And for the past decade, I have relied on you. And I am speechless. I want you to go and have fun with your wife. You're such an incredible gem and a resource for our town. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Mike.
Agreed. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, Mike.
Believe me.
Okay, now we can.
Yeah. So we're going to get our money's worth out of you the next month. So 2 months.
Anything that Mike needs to do, we have to do right now.
Right, we're gonna. I haven't known you that long, so I want to get my money's worth in the next 2 months.
Well, I'm here.
So I'd like to call the meeting of the HHR Building Committee to order at 6:04. First order of business is to approve the minutes from last week's meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes? Jameson, second.
Jill,
Dave
thank you.
Kerwar, all in
Dave,
favor?
yeah, thank you.
Aye. Dave Martin, do you vote one way or the other?
Yeah, you trying to get
You're on mute, bud.
It's virtual today.
I think I'm supposed to abstain since I wasn't here, yeah?
Okay,
It's up to
that's
you.
fine. You can abstain or you can have approved them if you had read them, but
I
they're
have
approved.
read them. They look fine to me, so I will vote to approve.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Elizabeth, I don't know that I know you.
Yeah, and then it has the
Hi,
instruction.
I was nominated or asked to be here as part of the parent representative for homeschool.
Okay, great. Well, welcome.
So thank you.
Elizabeth, I just got your name today. You'll be on the next set of emails. Thank you.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just stay quiet and listen.
I don't know. Happy to have you, and if you have input, we're happy to take it. So,
Great, thanks.
all right. Next order of business, really, for purposes of this meeting, is to kind of bring people up to date. There's been a lot going on. Primarily recently, the subcommittee that has been spearheading the architectural and CM selection, which is Jill Jameson, Paul Harding, Frankie Schuster, Mike Lynch, and Dr. Adley, have been very, very busy on that front. We sent out finalist letters to 3 architects, which is Fuller D'Angelo, Perkins Eastman, and KG&D. They are going to be producing conceptual charrettes. The town is going to be paying each of them $10,000. Dave Kerwar was super helpful putting together the retainer letter for those guys. And they're going to be presenting those charrettes on May the 9th at Town Hall, room 206. That is going to be that's going to be the kickoff for basically 2 pretty nutty weeks. The architects present charrettes on the 9th, and O&G is going to be present at that presentation because O&G, wearing their grant consultant hat, is going to take the charrettes and the information from the charrettes and is going to help us putting together our estimate for what will then form the basis for our revised appropriation, which we have to then have ready for Monday, May the 16th for the Board of Selectmen, Tuesday, May the 17th for the Board of Finance. So it's going to be a bit of a scramble that week to have analyzed the charrettes, ideally selected an architect, and come up with what we believe to be the aggregate estimate for each of the 3 school projects. Now, that's not going to be a line item budget. It's going to be essentially a number for each school, but we're going to have to justify how we came up with it when we get in front of BOS, BOF, and then the various RTM committees. One thing we're also starting to get, we've gotten one or two, we're starting to get questions from the architects as they prepare their charrettes. Mike, if I could maybe ask you to coordinate with Frankie and Paul in particular, and Jameson, obviously you as well, because you've got experience in this. You guys have the expertise and are best suited to answer these questions. And you guys coordinate to provide the answers as these come in. I'm perfectly fine, Mike, if you wanted to do it the way that you did the questions when RFPs came in, which was to create, in effect, a single document with questions and answers. That way, all of the architects get the benefit of all of the questions and all of the answers. I'm totally fine with that. I just am probably the least qualified person on the committee to actually answer the questions substantively. So if you guys can coordinate on the answers and do that, that would be a huge help.
Yep, I'm good with
Okay,
that. Happy to help.
that's good.
Appreciate that.
Chris,
On
I'm
the
just
CM, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jill.
I'm just going to jump in the break. That was Paul that called me a few minutes ago. He's on his way.
Okay.
He went to. Sorry, as you were. Chris, go.
The CM selection process has also kicked off. We received 5 responses to the request for qualifications. The subcommittee spoke Wednesday evening, last evening, and decided that we would invite 3 of the CMs to submit RFP responses, and letters went out today from the town to the ONG AP joint venture, Turner Construction, and Fusco Construction. And those RFP responses will be due on Thursday, May the 19th. And then the plan is to interview the 3 CM finalists on Wednesday, May the 25th, with a goal to select a CM by no later than our meeting the following week, which is June the 2nd. If the subcommittee can make a recommendation, and maybe we call a special meeting if we can get it done sooner than that. But I didn't want to, we have a meeting on the 26th of May. I just thought interviewing on the 25th was too close to our meeting on the 26th to try to then turn around and go from interview to recommendation to selection in, what would be less than 24 hours. I just want to make sure we're thoughtful about that. The other thing that's underway is the traffic study with Ty and Bond. They've been communicating with Mike. Mike has been to Mike and to Randy. Those have been passed along. Ty and Bond is ready to go to start with their traffic studies. They're going to collect data at each of the schools over the next couple of weeks. Mike is coordinating getting them access, alerting the folks at the schools that they're going to be there, and then responding to them, because Ty and Bond wanted to have a session with the committee. Mike's going to figure out why it is they want to meet with the committee, what it is they need to cover in particular, since they seem to want to meet before they start their data collection, which I didn't quite follow, but we'll get answers to that and report back. But that piece of the project is underway as well. The other thing from a status update is on the state grant. I spoke this morning with Dave Cravenzola from ONG, and he reported that Ray Wiley had made a lot of progress on putting the state grant applications together. He was going to reach out to both Mike Lynch and to Rich Rudel to help get some more input on that, but that, he's down to the point where there's a lot of blanks to be filled in. You know, who's the architect, who's the CM, what's the amount of the appropriation for each of the schools. But he's well on his way to having the state grant submissions prepared. So that's good news as well. Before we move on to other business, any questions, comments, thoughts on that?
Chris, I could answer about, I spoke to Craig Gaines from Ty and Bond,
Yeah.
and he thought meeting with the committee would give him the information about how each building does their dismissals and dropping kids off currently and what they see as issues. And I told him that I would send an email out to each of the building principals, and he could meet with myself and Kevin, my assistant, and the building principals. And we'll give him the answers that he needs before he actually starts his data collection. I said he'd be wasting time because, you know, I would gather that from the principals and give it to the committee, and then they would give it to him. Why don't I just give it to him?
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, because I don't think anybody on the committee offhand has that information, right? They would have to get it from somewhere. So I think that's a great suggestion and makes a lot more
And
logical
I'm happy to
sense. Thank
share
you.
with you guys what I give to him.
Sure.
So you know.
That'd be terrific. But that's a much more logical and efficient way to get him the information that he needs.
So we'll take care of that.
All right, perfect.
And keep him on task. And there was a question raised about why not wait on that. He wants to do it in May when he's got a set of days that are just regular school days. No, you know, parent stuff going on at night, no book fairs during the day, nothing, just a regular day, which is better to find in May than in June.
Oh, for data collection, that makes total sense. My question
Yes.
was with regard to meeting with the committee. And frankly, that was just purely selfish because, as I noted, we have a lot of stuff happening during
Yes.
those couple of weeks in May when that information didn't seem quite as mission critical as some of the other stuff we were doing. So if he's going to get that information from the principals, whenever that works is fine with me.
Yeah, the other thing too is Randy here. It's these consultants are very literal in their proposals. You know, I will give you one meeting. I will give you this amount of time. So we have to be just careful about when we use that, right? And not let it be kind of a wasted exercise where we have to duplicate it later, because that's when we're going to get hit with change orders.
Right. Good
I
point.
think this is a smart move.
Yeah, and Randy, obviously let you coordinate with Mike as to whether you want to be part of any of those meetings with the principals or any of the meetings with Ty and Bond, however you think that's going to proceed most how you can be most effective in that.
I would, yeah. I mean, I think, Mike, I'll join you on those. Just loop me in on it, especially, given your pending retirement. I want to make sure we got some good overlapping coverage.
Okay.
Perfect.
Chris.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, Chris. Just check the architect date. This is Alan. I think the architect that said that they were doing it at 9 o'clock, or sorry, the May 9th at 6 o'clock and so on. I think that's it, right?
Correct.
Right. So that I believe that's the night of the budget vote. So understandably, I won't be there. I'm not quite sure about Jill. We don't have to be there, obviously, but I'm just stating that. That's all.
May the 9th is the budget vote for BOE or
time
for
the whole town budget.
The whole town budget.
Okay. Yeah, there seems to be, and credit to Jill, she was working the phones pretty hard today. There's a lot of schedule conflicts as we get into the middle or latter part of May around the stuff we're trying to do together with other committees and boards and bodies of the town. So there may be some points where we needed to divide up and different people attend different things, but we're trying to work that the best we can at this point.
Hey, Chris,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want to call it, like, to your point, there are a ton of dates and there's a lot of activity. So I I have a Google worksheet with the different, milestones and deliverables and dates pulled from ONG, the RFPs, the documents that are on the town website. It covers everything you just mentioned except for the traffic study. I don't have anything on there, but I'll send it out to the team, and anyone can edit it, or you can just send me a note or send me a comment if something's missing or incorrect, just because I realize there's going to be conflicts in the month of May.
Awesome.
Alan, you may be busy, running up to the meeting, but if we could get you for the earlier slide of the architect presentations.
Oh, yeah, the vote isn't to 8. It's just, I didn't know whether you wanted me for any of them or just, whether that's equitable or not, but I'm certainly happy to be there for the ones that I can be from 6 o'clock.
I think it's better to just take whatever time we can from you. We would understand that any feedback you had would be only partial, but I think you offer very valuable feedback. So
You raise that gives me a thought, which is obviously Alan's feedback is hugely important on the architectural side of it. Should we be inviting the principals to that?
No.
Okay. Next point. That was pretty clear. Okay.
I certainly don't mean that disrespectfully, but I don't think so at this point.
Okay.
Certainly when we select someone, it's a time for them to get involved. That's true.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on that kind of general update, state of the committee, state of the process? With that, one housekeeping matter that we deferred from last week, which was, I think, of the various vendors that have been in the pipeline over the past month and a half or so. I think the last one we've approved Ty and Bond, we've approved the surveyor. I think the last one is Hygienics, which would be our environmental and asbestos survey engineer. And Mike has circulated their proposal. Any questions or any items to discuss on that? Because I would like to put the approval of Hygienics to a vote so that the town can get a purchase order in line and get those guys started.
Mike, did we get any other bids?
No, I went with Hygienics because they're the guys that know our buildings. They've been doing our environmental work for long before I came here. And
I know I have no problem with Hygienics or the bids. I was just curious if we just basically sole sourced it to them. I was under the impression there were a couple other bids, but
Yeah, not for this.
No, I only went to them. It's professional service. It was under $20,000 or $10,000, per project. So
no, the quotes I saw were 12, 7, and 2. They were coming up to 20, almost 23 or 24 each. The first line item was for roughly 12 or 13,000, depending on the school. The second line item was 7,500, and the third line item was for 2,200. That was per school, so that the whole thing's 60 G's, roughly. At least the quotes I looked at today. That's my question.
we're still okay. There's not a $20,000 threshold for a building committee like there is on the Board of Ed.
Okay.
We can select professional services.
And no problem. I mean, we can, if we need to formally vote them, we can vote them.
Can we get a motion to approve Hygienics as the environmental engineer? Jameson moves. Can I get a second? Jill seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, unanimous, passed. Great. So then, Mike, you can let them know they're good to go and work with the town folks to get that purchase order run through. Is there anything else from any of the other subcommittees? Obviously, as I noted, the architect and CM subcommittee has been very busy. Dave just reported on on scheduling. Anything else anything in terms of communications, anything with regard to, are the principals putting out any information that we're aware of at this point, or are they in kind of a lull?
I think the principals are in a lull right now. We did, Kevin and I took Perkins Eastman around yesterday to the 3 schools. KG&D is coming tomorrow morning at 7, and Fuller and D'Angelo is coming at 10.
Okay,
So
great.
all 3 of the finalists are looking at all the buildings. And KG&D has switched their engineering subcontractor. They've switched from O'Day Lynch Associates, OLA. They're going with Bldg Gallagher.
Oh wow.
They
Okay.
switched back.
And we haven't heard from Perkins Eastman, right? Because Perkins Eastman was the one that we very clearly told they needed to switch from.
Oh, they said they're going to they are going to switch, and they are most likely going to use CES.
Okay.
Who's the engineer at Oxbridge School, and he was the engineer chosen by about, I don't know, four or five of the architects that submitted proposals. They had CES.
Okay.
They're a very reputable engineering firm.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, that's good. Other than that, I really, this was intended to be kind of a relatively short meeting. I hit most of the dates. I just, in terms of, so people have this, and maybe one more time for David in terms of generally if we look over just a quick refresh on what the upcoming timeline and dates look like. So if people are looking at their calendar, May 9th is the architectural charrette presentation. I guess it's also, Jill noted to me, it's also an RTM meeting. We don't really have business in front of the RTM other than getting our state grant resolutions reworded and approved. So we'll work on that. So that's May 9th.
Chris, that night our meeting is at 6 and the RTM meeting is at 8. So there should be hopefully enough time.
There'll be some overlap because the charrettes will go for essentially 1 hour per. So we're going to be committed. We have the room 6 to 9. We expect we'll go 6 to 9. So there'll be some overlap. Then, that week, as I said, that week is going to be pretty busy looking at the architectural conceptual designs, the architectural estimates, O&G putting their estimate together with a goal to probably for this committee to meet probably on the 13th. I know that's a Friday, not a Thursday, but to give us a little bit more time, probably to meet on the 13th to approve the increased appropriation and select and approve an architect selection. I wanted to move it from the 12th just because the 12th just seemed too tight after getting the charrettes on the 9th. We don't have a definitive date yet, but we're thinking about, when we hold that week's meeting. That's an important meeting. And then the reason for that is that we have to be ready for the 16th and 17th for Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. And then the following Monday and Tuesday, although they may consolidate some of those meetings, we have to be ready for the RTM Finance and Budget, RTM Education Committee, and RTM Rules Committee. Again, those are all related to the approval of the increased appropriation. CM RFPs are then due on the 19th with a targeted date of interviewing the CMs on the 25th and selecting a CM sometime between the 26th and June the 2nd. So those are kind of the critical dates over the course of the next month. Yes, Sarah.
So town hall is closed on Fridays.
Okay.
So Friday the 13th, we can most likely, I believe, meet virtually. I can double check. We can hopefully use this GoToMeeting again if it worked for everyone. But we cannot use any of the rooms in Town Hall.
I
Okay.
bet we could ask the Board of Ed for a favor too.
Yeah, we do have somebody on the call that might be helpful.
What about the Mather, some of the rooms in Mather Center? Is that closed too?
Just
Mather?
for quorum, I'll be in Ohio at a race that weekend. I'm not busy at 6 o'clock, so I can join virtually. So if you're doing everything virtually, I can join. If not, I can't.
Let's see.
Friday afternoons are absolutely the worst possible time for me. So if
Okay.
you want to do a midday Friday or Friday morning virtually, that I could do that. But Friday afternoons are out.
Jameson, would Friday morning work for you?
I was just looking at my schedule. I'm on track 11:50 to 12:20 on Friday, and then 3:10 to 3:40. So it depends on how early. If it's earlier, then yes. If not, then no.
Okay.
So
All
before
right. Well,
10, or
Before
maybe
10's fine.
from
Before
1 to
10.
2 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you maybe poll the committee and see between like
I
Thursday?
can. Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, either. I mean, look, Thursday late in the evening. The point is, I just want to make sure we have enough time for the subcommittee and for O&G to do their thing, right? I'm not like.
Hang on one second. Brian Seeley, can you please make me the organizer so I can do a poll if we can?
Got fancy stuff, Chris.
Yes. You still do have organizer privileges.
All right, let me see. Sorry, guys. This is new to me.
No.
I'll send a doodle poll.
Or send an email, and people can just give you the times that work for them between Thursday night late and Friday morning.
Yep.
Or again, if the virtual platform works. If we want to try to do it virtually, if we wanted to do, that's fine. Let's just have people give you the times that work for that. And because we're going to have such a crazy couple of weeks starting on the 9th, there's work to be done next week, but I don't know that there's need. I think the big thing we're going to try to do is get out ahead of the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance presentations that would then roll into the RTM presentation with blanks for what the dollar amounts are. But I don't know that there's a need for a formal meeting next Thursday, the 5th.
The 4th.
Unless, if that's okay with people, we'll give everybody a Thursday evening off.
Anybody have any issues?
Mm-mm.
I mean, I love seeing you guys, but if you'd like to do something else that evening, that's fine too.
Just have to file a cancellation, but I'm sold.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was.
All right. So we canceling the meeting? Yes. Next week.
Canceling next Thursday, the 5th. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Jill, we don't need a vote for that, right?
No, I don't think we need a vote to cancel.
Thanks.
And that was all I had for this evening. Anything else from anybody before I ask for a motion to adjourn? With that, could I get a motion to adjourn? Dave Martin motion. Everyone's in a hurry to get out of here. Dave Martin motions. Paul Harding seconds. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you guys, everybody, very, very much.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.